me, brother! Are the Deathly Hallows, 3 items that make the owner master of death. Not sure why I said that in a pirate voice, it just sort of felt natural, you know. Pirates versus wizards, who needs ninjas? Hashtag Team Wizard. The Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, and the Cloak of Invisibility. Quick, on the count of 3, which one would you choose? 3, 2, 1. Hey, brother! And we all said the Elder Wand, right? Right? I mean, guys, come on, it is clearly the best choice. I think the problem most people have when considering this question is that they frame the items in the context to which they are presented to us in the book, which is that they can and should, or that the sole purpose of these items is to be used to evade or conquer death. When the real question should just be, how is this going to help me in everyday life? See, this is me with an invisibility cloak. My job is way less fun to watch. The wand in particular is always cast in this horrible light because it's presented to you as if by owning it, you would absolutely just be seeking out all of these fights. But honestly, I mean, how often in everyday life are you like in a fight that comes to blows? Yes, the most exciting spells in Harry Potter are the ones cast at other people, but that's from the perspective of the reader, and it's like wartime in the wizarding world. So like regular everyday wizards aren't really casting jinxes and hexes and curses at people. They're like folding pamphlets and sending them around as paper airplanes and stuff. That's what I imagine most magic is. For day-to-day regular magic, wouldn't you want the wand that is going to do everything the best? That is going to like clean your house the best or whatever? It would be like having the most expensive version of any given muggle item, except it's a magic wand. So it's literally the best version of every single muggle item. Now, if you said the cloak, let me just explain to you how wrong you are. Because 1, if you had the wand, you could make yourself invisible. Dumbledore himself admits that. He's like, the cloak is really just there to complete the collection. Like, seriously, how did the cloak come out as the most noble of the items? Have you ever had that argument with your friends where you try and decide whether it'd be better to be able to fly or be invisible? Because this is how that conversation always goes. Always. Why would you need to be invisible? What were you gonna do? What are you spying on, you creeper? Agreed, because honestly, what do you think a teenage boy would actually do with the cloak that made him invisible? Well, I'll tell you what we're not gonna do is answer that question. That seems like the safer bet. What we are gonna do is move on to clearly the worst Hallow, the Resurrection Stone. I mean, who wants the one that's actively trying to kill you and in the meantime isn't at least an awesome multi-tool? Wait, kill you? That's not how the Resurrection Stone works, I hear you saying. Resurrection Stone, what an awful name. More like Death Stone, am I right? I mean, it was literally given to them by death. But to be fair, all of them were, so. You know what, let's just review in case you need a refresher. In the tale of the 3 brothers, the brothers come across a river that typically kills people, but because they're wizards, they're able to easily construct a bridge and cross it. This angers Death because he was expecting 3 more lives and feels cheated, so as a reward, he decides to give them 3 super powerful items of choice. I mean, that's fishy right there. Death's just watching like, those guys have upset me. They did something I didn't like in a game they didn't know they were playing. Guess I better give them prizes. Red flag, guys. Red flag. I mean, just look at this guy. He's totally suspect. But I can see why they wouldn't see this as a red flag and why they might not have even noticed it later on. They get to choose what the items are. How could they go wrong? Death certainly wouldn't be tricking them into killing themselves later with these items, right? Except, yeah, he totally is. The Elder Wand is the most obvious because given its power, it's so desirable and invites challengers, which is why you have to be very careful not to mention that you have it and just use it as a regular wand. Personally, I think I'd be super excited about just using it as the world's greatest flashlight. Lumos! Ah, my eyes! But blindness aside, the first brother quickly dies and is reclaimed by Death. The other 2 are a little less obvious and made significantly more complicated because of the invisibility cloak. Because see, the third brother is cleverer. More cleverer? Yeah, that sounds right. The third brother is more cleverer than Death. That's the point of the story. He manages to create an item that actually will hide him from death. That's why the pattern is so hard to spot. And it's even more difficult to spot because the Resurrection Stone seems to do the exact opposite of what it's actually trying to do. It seems like it's bringing people back from the dead rather than trying to kill you. That would leave Death with even fewer dead people. That's not what he wants, right? Or Or is it? But again, no, the third brother is the only clever one. That's the point of the story. The other two are susceptible to Death's cleverness, and that is why both of their items succeed in killing them. I mean, literally everyone who owns the Elder Wand in the books dies. Gregorovitch, Grindelwald, Dumbledore, Voldemort, all dead. Well, unless you count Draco, which I actually don't, although you can watch a full video about that by clicking on the card. Or if you count Harry, but again, I don't, because the wand is supposed to be worthy of someone who has defeated death, and Harry literally obtains the wand moments after coming back to life from death. So, but you know, again, Sarah, just watch the other video. Sadly though, there are much fewer examples of people owning the Resurrection Stone, and yet the kill rate is still 100%. The first example we see is the second brother, who uses it to bring back his dead love, but only like halfway. Since he can't truly be with her, he decides to kill himself. So yeah, boom, dead. Ha, that's a joke for the Super Carlin gaming audience. The only other person we ever see use it is Harry, and yes, he is still quite alive. But what happens to him immediately after using it? Dead. Yes, there is a super emotional and sad scene where Harry's parents and Lupin and Sirius come back and escort him, and maybe this is what Harry had already decided to do. But the stone is still doing what it's supposed to do. Try and kill its owner. It's a nice and happier way to go, but the arrival of his dead guardians still makes this decision easier for Harry, and they literally walk him to his death. This to me also kind of explains why Dumbledore isn't part of this crowd that walks him there, because the stone knows that the sight of Dumbledore might make Harry change his mind, that Dumbledore would want him to kill Voldemort before doing this. Or at least finish off the last Horcrux. I guess he intended for Harry to die, but maybe he knew he'd come back, I don't know. In fact, after Harry does die, who's there to convince him to go right on back? Is Dumbledore. Although again, to be fair, he does tell him he can go on. But I mean, come on, Dumbledore spent like half of his adult life trying to get rid of Voldemort. You know what he wants Harry to do. The real question is whether the stone is letting you choose who gets to come back, or whether or not it's just showing you who's most likely to lure you to the other side. Because we know right from the Sorcerer's Stone and the Mirror of Erised that what Harry wants more than anything in the world is a family. And how convenient then that exactly what the stone shows him are all the people he's come to consider family. Harry even asks them if it's going to hurt, and Sirius says,
"Quicker than falling asleep."
Going to sleep? Oh, that sounds nice and easy and restful. Maybe I'll try. No, you can't listen. That is what the stone wants you to do, because that's how it works, because it's trying to kill you. Ben, my question for you and everyone else is, which of the Hallows would you choose? Let me know in the towel section down below. These socks are amazing! And a special thanks to these patrons who support Super Carlin Brothers on Patreon. Guys, thanks for watching. As always, please remember to like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Harry Potter action from us. If you would like to see the true path of the Elder Wand, you can check out this video right here, or if you'd like the Veil explained, you can check out this video right here. But Ben, that's all I've got for you today, man. I will see you in another life, brother.